Okay, let's give you guys some practice. So find the limit of this as x heads towards 0. You need to know this by heart. You need to know this and you need to know this by heart. So find the limit. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this we are going to times top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. So times top and bottom by this. And then 1 plus cos x. So now this times this will then give you this, and then this times this. Well, if you multiply the two together, you're going to get this. Okay, and then looking at this block here, you should know this by heart as well. The height, when you have an angle theta, the height is sine theta. The cross here is cos theta, circle of radius 1. So you should know this by now. So now if you look at this, 1 minus cos squared. Well, if you minus cos squared from both sides, that would be 1 minus cos squared x equals sine squared x. So notice that this is exactly the same as this. So we can put sine squared into this block here. That will then give us this. So now we've got one thing divided by another thing. So now remember sine x over x. Take the limit. That equals 1. Well, hopefully you can see that in here. You've got x squared. Well, what you do from here is you would divide top and bottom by x squared. Divide top and bottom by x squared, because you want to move this down here so that it can be like this. Well, let's divide top and bottom by x squared. Divide top and bottom by x squared. So the numerator, when you divide it by x squared, will become this. And then imagine this as being a bubble over x, a bubble over x. So imagine this as being one number and this as being another number. So now hang on. Now looking at this, break this up into two blocks. So you've got one block multiplying another block. So from here, I hope you can see that. Well, here you've got one block, you've got another block, and then you've got another block. This block here equals 1. This block here equals 1, and as x heads towards 0, this is going to be 1. So 1 plus 1 would be 2. I hope in your mind you can see that this thing here will be 2, and then this thing here will be 1 times 1. So you can have a quick glance to see that it does equals 2. So when you get to this stage here, I hope you can see that this is going to be 1, this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2. But let's do it technically correct. So now you've got to take the limit of this whole thing here. So imagine this as being imagine the numerator as being the function, one function. Imagine this as being another function. So now utilize the limit law. When you take the limit of, well, let's just make use of this limit law. So when you have one function divided by another function, if you're trying to take the limit of one function divided by another function, that's the same as you taking the limit of the top function and then taking the limit of the bottom function, and then just get the two limits and divide one by the other. So when you're at this stage here, take the limit of the top function, that's this thing here, and then take the limit of the bottom function, and whatever the limit of this, whatever the limit of this is, you just get one divided by the other. So now that will then take you to this stage here. Now make use of the limit law. When you're taking the limit of one function times another function, whenever you take the limit of one function times another function, that's the same as you taking the limit of one function, taking the limit of the other function. Whatever the two limits are, just multiply them together. So we are going to make use of this law to break this up. So now whenever you take the limit of one function times another function, that's the same as you taking the limit of one function and taking the limit of the other function and then multiply them together. So now you've got 3 blocks. So now the limit here, we've seen in the past that equals 1. This block here equals 1, and then this equals 2. So the answer is 2. And then if you get a graph plotter and plot the function, get a graph plot and plot this function, and then zoom into this bit here, it does actually head towards 2. It does head towards 2. Okay, so the limit is actually 2. Okay.